So a few days ago, Suzanne Collins announced the coming of her new book, Sunrise on the Reaping, that's set to come out in March of 2025, with a movie sometime in 2026. As a Hunger Games fan, am I excited? I don't know. My name is Dakota Sage, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be giving my thoughts on the new Haymitch Abernathy book and why I'm a little bit concerned about it. The first red flag to me is that the book was announced during the Hunger Games resurgence. Whereas The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes was released at a quiet time and made waves by itself, I'm worried that this new book is being made now to piggyback off the attention of the last movie. Basically, I'm worried that it's just being made to appease fans and make money. I've talked a couple times on my channel about the commercialization of the Hunger Games and how I think that a lot of the themes got lost when making the movies. Instead of exploring the book's critiques on society, the government, and the media, instead the movies focus more on the kids killing each other. Katniss's internal struggles with trauma and survival were swept under the rug in favor of a Hollywood heroine with a love triangle. But I think it was Frances Lawrence that said that Suzanne only writes a book when she has something to say, so obviously she has a reason for writing it. Suzanne Collins said in an interview that she was inspired by David Hume's thoughts on the easiness of which the many are governed by the few. She also said that the book goes more in depth of propaganda and those in control of the narrative, and says that the idea of real or not real seems more pressing every day. So basically what I've gathered is that the point of this book is to expand on the things already talked about in the first trilogy. I assume that the story is going to be about love and that Haymitch is going to be a mirror for Katniss. Aside from the fact that in the first Hunger Games book, it's talked about how similar Haymitch and Katniss are, but in Haymitch's games, he committed an act of rebellion by using the Capitol's technology against them. This happened when Haymitch was in the final two with a girl from District 7, I believe. He let her chase her all the way to the edge of the arena because he knew that there was a cliff and behind the cliff was a force field. So if something fell off of this cliff, it would get rebounded back into the arena. So when Haymitch and this girl were fighting, she threw her axe at him, he ducked, it went off the cliff, and then rebounded back and killed her. So because of his actions during the games, Haymitch's mother, sister, and girlfriend were all killed. So if I had to guess, Haymitch's sister will mirror Prim, his girlfriend will mirror Peeta, and the new book will use Haymitch's story to expand on what would have happened to Katniss if she couldn't protect Prim and Peeta. So, becoming a cynical alcoholic. Now, part of my problem is the movie. Like I said previously, I'm not the biggest Hunger Games movie fan. I think that they are too Hollywood and just don't do the books justice. And I feel like this could easily happen with the new movie. Like, the actual themes of the book will be ignored for the novelty of seeing Haymitch in his games. It's a very real possibility that the movie will just be a good-looking, I-can-fix-him type of guy swinging around weapons for a couple hours. Or they will try to draw so much attention to Easter eggs about Katniss and Lucy Gray and other people that they'll end up cutting out actually important scenes. I know I'm giving Jaden Smith right now, but I don't really care.
I'm just like, dude, like, oh my god, like, can we talk about, like, the political and economic state of the world right now?
I love a lot of movies where the whole point is to have fun and entertain, but The Hunger Games is not like that. And we already know how Haymitch won his game, so it's very important that they get into the deeper levels that I assume Suzanne is going to explore in her book. Psychology aside, making a bunch of prequels has the very real possibility of creating plot holes. Songbirds and Snakes actually did a really good job at connecting the two stories while also keeping them completely separate. Like, Lucy Gray and the Covey have a very clear connection to Katniss, but their introduction still has a place in the District 12 that Katniss knows 64 years later. The events that happen in The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes doesn't get in the way of Katniss's story, it just enhances an already established character. But Haymitch has a much closer connection to Katniss than Lucy Gray, and his possible connection to her parents could cause discrepancies in the story. Obviously, Maisie Donner will be included somewhere in the books and the movies, and Maisie was best friends with Katniss's mother. And Madge, who gives Katniss the Mockingjay pin in the first book, is the deceased Maisie Donner's niece, so it's also possible that this pin will make an appearance in Haymitch's story as well. Katniss's father also came from the seam and was a similar age to Haymitch, and Peeta's father was also in love with Katniss's mother when they were young. So if you connect everything, Katniss's mother and father, Madge's family, and Peeta's parents could all be included in this new story. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about Harry Potter and the Fantastic Beasts series. With Fantastic Beasts, it was a pretty interesting concept, but it had no real reason to be made aside from making money and engaging audiences. The whole series is filled with plot holes that eventually got it cancelled, including having Professor McGonagall teaching a class when she wasn't even born yet in book canon. Now, the Haymitch situation is very different because it's a book written by Suzanne Collins, not just Hollywood writers. And at the end of the day, I honestly just trust Suzanne. And I will read and watch it when it comes out, and realistically, it'll probably be pretty good even if it's just for entertainment. It would just be ironic if the movie was shallow and only made to make money because of Collins' previous critiques on society and the use of media as a distraction. Anyway, that's my quick little thoughts on Sunrise on the Reaping. Obviously, there's not much information out now, and I'll probably end up making another video when the book actually comes out. But until then, that's it for today, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, have a great rest of your day.